What's up, everybody? Steve Butts here with IGN. I'm also joined by my close personal friend, Marty Sleva.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Pretty good. We're looking at Fortnite here. This is Epic's new game.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a fortnight since we last saw it.
It's been more like a fort year since we've seen it. Yeah?
Yeah, this was Epic's sort of big open-world crafting-based survival game that got announced a couple years ago. They went sort of dark with the game, and recently you got a chance to not only see it, but play it.
Yeah, I got a chance to play it. We've got some gameplay footage here we're going to kind of break down for you. The first thing to notice, obviously, this does not look like an Epic game.
It does not. It does not have big, sweaty, gray-brown things attacking to each other. It's very colorful. It's very light. Kind of looks like Sunset Overdrive. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But I think that's great. That's one of the things with next-gen games I was hoping for. Well, I guess this is PC, but with modern games, I'm hoping for more color. So we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, and you definitely see it. And, you know, the environments here are super cartoony, very stylized, kind of like the new Team Fortress.
Definitely.
Which I like, and I think it allows the game to age a lot better.
Oh, yeah,
than the sort of photorealistic games.
Yep.
What we're seeing here, there's a lot of exploration in this game. As Marty said, you know, it's kind of a systems-focused game. It's less scripted than something like Gears of War, which Epic is known for. So you saw the ninja there jumping on some jump pads to access new areas, which is kind of cool. And these are elements that players can lay down in the world. So
very cool.
It's a very tool-oriented game. They put a lot of the burden of creating opportunity on the player. So you know, they provide the problem with regard to environmental exploration or enemies, and then it's kind of up to you to figure out, well, how do I want to solve this?
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
Which I think is really cool, and there are lots of reasons to do that. So, for example, here, this ninja character has found a treasure chest on top of a building. You might miss that entirely if you don't go up there.
If you didn't lay the jump pads or somehow, you know, maneuver your way up to that building.
Exactly, and you see as he opens this up, a bunch of stuff comes out. You see this blue thing is a trap part. There's some other trap parts here, some regular just harvesting resources as well. Nuts and bolts come out, and that's kind of one half of the game. It's about harvest. Well, 1/3 I will say. It's about harvesting and collecting resources.
We see soon you're chopping down trees. You're collecting, I assume, lumber and different sort of wood resources.
Yeah, you get wood. There are other things you can get from trees. You can get resin and things like that. The game is very recipe focused, a little bit like Minecraft, but in this case, instead of building window panes and crafting tables, you're building machine guns and things like that.
Yeah, and bridges and turrets and sort of defenses. It seems like you're getting ready for something. It seems like you're really trying to build your fortifications. Yeah,
so that comes into it a little bit later. We will back up just a little second here because you mentioned it. Yeah, you see the character now laying down assets in the world, and these are things that you create. There are 3 basic building materials in the game. There's wood, stone, and metal, and you collect all of those as you chop down trees, mine ore, beat up cars, things like that. And then you spin those to create these elements, and it's relatively free form, which I really like. Each element is laid down in a 4x4 grid on the ground, and you can select which parts of that grid you're going to build or not. So, for example, you see here you've basically laid down a 1x2 catwalk, and then a 1x2 staircase, and then a little 1x1.
So this is everything. This is a catwalk and a staircase that the players themselves ended up saying where they want it built.
Exactly.
So something if you wanted it on the other side of the building, you could do that just as well.
Yeah, and you can see here. So we've activated an atlas. We'll get back to this in a little bit because this is sort of mission based. But a guy decides to put down a wall, and he lays down a stone wall, and there's basically just, sort of a first level version of that. This guy's laying down wooden catwalks. And you can upgrade those as well. So if you build a wooden catwalk,
very cool.
You saw there just a second. You see the guy sort of editing the pieces on the fly.
Yeah, he's looking at a blueprint and sort of just.
He says, "I don't want that extra piece up there. I'll just sort of ghost that out, and then I'll only build in that one little corner of the 2x2 section."
Cool.
And it just links up automatically. And here's the really, really cool part. You can go to walls, and it doesn't matter if you built the wall or if a friend built them. You can go in and say, look, I want to open up these 2 spots for a door. I want to open these other spots for a window.
Very cool.
The players also lay down traps.
She better get out of there. She's about to get stabbed.
There's no player-on-player damage in this. But there are plenty of traps you can lay down, spikes that come out of the walls.
I like this a lot. This looks really interesting.
Yeah, it's super fun. And basically the whole gist is you got to prepare for this assault. Here's another staircase built by a player, and you can see he's actually upgrading these to make them stronger so that if the enemy attacks them,
they'll take a little bit longer.
Yeah, they'll take a little more damage. He does the same thing here, adding a door, and then begins to upgrade it. Okay, so we get in here. This is the actual mission. Each of the levels in Fortnite is going to have a slightly different take on the action. In this case, you're activating a gate, and then you've got to hold off against a group of they call them husks, basically zombies, that are coming and trying to destroy that gate. And you can see here, they built an entire structure around the the thing the husks are trying to destroy. You've got a commando here armed with a rifle, good at long-range damage. You've got a ninja here who's a melee fighter.
Yeah. I love the idea of sort of you and your friends gather around. You sort of build your Precinct 13 / Alamo,
right,
like
exactly.
your fortification for the siege, and then you have to say, well, this is the best we can do right now. Now we have to defend it against this, horde of zombies.
And if they destroy it, well, you've got to build it again.
Oh, that's really cool.
Really cool.
Now, is it like wave-based?
It can be wave-based. It's mostly, hey, can you hold out against these guys? And if so, great, you win the level, you can move on.
Yeah.
But if you lose, you've got to go back and start over again. And this time, you've got fewer resources. You've got to go out and harvest again.
Gotcha.
Let's look at a few of the specific gameplay elements here in this. So you see these sort of purple streaks flying around. These are flingers. And what these guys do is they throw other enemies into your base. So you need to make sure that you've got a roof as well. There's a guy coming in this gate here who's got a beehive on his head, and he's obviously much more dangerous for melee fighters to engage with because he immediately starts damaging them.
Definitely.
So it's some interesting tactics and strategies you have to use based on the kind of player you are, the types of weapons you have, and who else is on your team.
So it seems like we're seeing 2, 3 human players on any given map. How many people are playing at once? How many human players are?
The matches that we played were 4 players. There are only 3 classes in the game right now. They're planning to add a 4th, and they will be adding more. But you saw just there, as that flinger flung that guy in, you built a roof, and immediately the guy lands on it.
That's really cool. I like
and he doesn't get down to your to the little gate that they're trying to destroy.
Yeah, it seems like the sort of creation and crafting is deep but simplistic at the same time. It doesn't seem like you're not navigating up 20 different menus in order to build a roof. It's sort of, the game is smart enough to know contextually, you want a roof right now, here's a roof.
Yeah, and they actually don't show you much of the interface in this. I mean, there's a lot more information on here when you're actually playing. You can even pin certain items to the HUD and say, look, I want to know what I've got to get to create this machine gun or this new axe. And then it'll show you, oh, you need 2 more pieces of resin, or you need duct tape, which is another type of thing you have to make. So there's some recipes that are dependent on making other stuff.
Interesting.
Which is cool. So it can get complex, but it's fairly easy, and there's no level requirements on these weapons. So if you've got a really kick-ass gun, you can make it, give it to a friend who just started the game.
I like
they
it.
don't have to be leveled up.
Very cool.
Yeah. So you see here, we mentioned the ninja and the commando. The other class we got to play was the constructor, and everybody can do everything in the game. Nobody's sort of locked out of one thing, but the constructor is a little bit better at building things than other players are. Let's see. We'll go back here a little bit because there's a little bit more to say about this. We're seeing here exclusively PvE content.
Yeah.
We're not entirely sure yet what Epic wants to do with the PvP experience, but we do know that it will involve all these same systems. So imagine this going on. We've got 5 players playing on one side of the map. There's another 5 players on the other side, and they're trying to attack our base. We're trying to attack theirs.
I like the sound of that a lot.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we're trying to, gather resources. We're trying to take back to our constructor all the wood and stone and metal that he needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very tool-based game. You see here, there's sort of the players have built a basically a hallway of death. Like
this is the murder
bottom. Yeah. And there are different mission types. So there might be an escort mission, or there might be a defend the base mission, or there might be some other sort of mission that you have to take part in. And based on what the parameters of that mission are, you decide, hey, what do we want to build? How do we want to tackle this?
And I feel like there's a lot of strategy here in terms of, you put all 5 guys, right on the outside so that they're combating the first wave, or do you sort of stagger your teammates to be like, well, 2 of you are near the front, and then 2 of you stay back, so that if anyone gets through, we'll have people ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm super encouraged by this game. We're still not 100% sure where we're actually going to play the final version. Epic is understandably sensitive about one particular issue of this game, and that's that it's free to play. Right?
Okay, yeah.
That turns off a lot of people.
Sure. It still has that stigma, even though games like Dota and World of Tanks are some of the biggest things on the market right now.
Yeah, but I mean, they say obviously, that it's not pay to win. Of course, they're going to say that.
Sure,
everybody says that.
Yeah.
But I do respect sort of what they're going for here. They want to reach as wide an audience as possible, and I think free to play is the way to go with that.
Yeah.
They have told us that they don't want to, rent guns or sell power in any way. They want the playing field to be relatively level with regard to what you can do in the world from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah.
Which I got to respect. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. It's definitely a huge departure for Epic, not just in terms of the visual, but in terms of like the open-ended kind of system-based design. Yeah. Gears of War, as great as it is, it's very narrow and scripted in terms of the challenge, and this is not that.
Yeah, but I mean, over the past 15, 20 years, Epic has been sort of the forefront of helping push the bar for what competitive multiplayer is between the Unreal Tournament games and then going on to Gears. And so obviously there's been a lot of departures at the studio, but that the studio has that pedigree of really understanding competitive online multiplayer gaming. coming. And so, this looks like it could be the next step in that.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot more to learn about this with the metagame, PvP, persistence. But for now, that's all we've got in Fortnite. For more details, please keep it locked to IGN.